Hey guys, Scott Franklin here from Scott Franklin Performance Coaching. I help people live awesome lives with no regrets. So these are my top 10 rules for success. Rule number 1, you've got to be open, willing and ready. So it doesn't matter if you've got to be open, willing and ready to change, open, willing and ready to adapt, open, willing and ready to transform. You've got to be open, willing and ready, right? The key thing is when you learn something, you've got to be able to do it afterwards. A mentor of mine taught me years ago, was a famous saying is, to know and not to do is really not to know. So what they're saying is that it's not good enough just to have these ideas and concepts in your head, you've got to be able to do them. And where I truly learnt that lesson the most was when I was in jail. When in jail, right, everyone thinks they're an expert at something or everything, right? There's just a lot of people that think they know a lot of the stuff. It's just very common in there. So if you tell someone a theory or a concept and you can't do it, they're going to say you're full of shit and they're not going to believe you. Which is fair enough, right? It's a lot of common sense, a lot of like streetwise approach to things. So I really learnt there, don't say it unless you can do it, right? So that was a big thing for me. And then when it's about being open, willing and ready. To me, it's more so learning. You've got to have that hunger to learn. You've got to have that curiosity for life about the things that you're interested in, is just wanting to know more about them and I'm really enjoying the process. And once you've found your groove for the things that you enjoy, is adding in that extra layer of enthusiasm as well. The thing that I've noticed is that when you're on that type of journey, it's like when the student's ready, the teacher appears. Right? But again, it always links back to being open, willing and ready. If you're not open, willing and ready for opportunities, the opportunities will present themselves and you might miss them. All right, rule number 2, be unbreakable. So to me, this is all about resilience and confidence. To me, it's about not being ashamed of your past. You know, it's like we all make mistakes. We all go through life and we do things that we probably shouldn't have done, but they're all designed for us to learn from. And to bounce back from. And that's one thing that's definitely happened to me, is I've been smashed in life. I've been belted all the way down into rock bottom, and you know, I had to find a way to bounce back. And the good thing is about rock bottom, once you hit rock bottom, it doesn't get any lower than that. You know, it's only up and up from there. So yeah, just having that ability to bounce back, and I've been fortunate enough to learn some really powerful techniques which have helped me do that. My resilience techniques, they basically switch off the buttons from the negative emotion. So if you're feeling anxiety or depression or a lack of self-esteem, anything, there's a button that links to it that can be switched on or off. And if you know how to switch them off, when you switch off the negative emotion, it switches back on the positive one. So yeah, it makes me feel unbreakable. And I know I go on about them all the time. It's because I believe in them and they've helped me turn my life around. So yeah, there's a huge one for that, is just, you know, releasing. It's just I do a lot of releasing work. Instead of holding on to things, I let go of them, and that gives me confidence, and the more I do it, the better I've gotten at it. So I've got the ability to bounce back really fast. You know, this unbreakable spirit I have inside of me is a reflection of all the things I've bounced through, and I'm still going and I'm still climbing towards the top of the mountain. So be unbreakable. Number 3, be unstoppable, right? Have a purpose in life that makes you feel you're unstoppable. So when I talk about life's purpose, I think the first thing that everyone needs to do in terms of life's purpose, the first step, find your authentic self. That's step 1. Your whole purpose in life is about finding that. Don't worry about anything else. In terms of purpose, don't worry about anything else until you've found that. Once you've found that, all other things will come from that. Everything that you love in life is connected to life's purpose, right? It's where the life's purpose is connected to the authentic self. The authentic self is going to take you on a journey of your life's mission, your life's purpose. You're going to have such a great time, meet all awesome people, have all these magical, awesome experiences. And the thing is, you know, when people talk about your gut instincts and they're never wrong, well, they're never wrong. So you can go all in on that. If your authentic self tells you to do something, you are unstoppable because it's not wrong. It's leading you down a path that you're destined to go down. So it's just trust and believe that. And I think when people talk about believing in themselves, how I interpret that is you've got to believe in your authentic self. Whatever it tells you to do, you do it. And believe that it has your back and it's leading you down the right path. Number 4, be authentic. To me, this is an absolutely massive one that I pride myself on, and I encourage a lot of other people to do the same, because it's a choice. It's a choice between listening to the voice in the head of the ego or listening to the voice of the heart or the gut instincts, the authentic self. Being authentic. When you're being authentic, you're a more understanding person. You're more respectful. from becoming authentic, I've found strength in my vulnerabilities, right? I'm no longer scared and fearful of people and life because I've helped heal all of my wounds and all of my traumas from being authentic, and I put a lot of them in my videos. I'm not afraid to tell my story in videos. In fact, that has now become my strength. My stories are what gives me credibility. My stories are what make me relatable, and how some of you connect to me is through my authenticity and my vulnerability. So I think being vulnerable is the new strength. Being vulnerable is the way forward, and just being authentic with it, because everyone's got a story and everyone's got things that they've been through, and we're all relatable and connect on that level. And remaining humble through the process, right? The authentic self doesn't think it's better or worse than anyone else. Everyone's authentic self is living out its own life's purpose, and you can't compare two people's life's purpose because everyone's purpose is different. Although they might seem similar in some ways, some people may have been doing things for longer than others. They've fine-tuned their craft more than others. They may have had more resources, a greater network of people, or whatever they may have had, which has led them down that track at a much faster rate. But you can't judge yourself against them because that's their purpose. You've just got to focus on yours. So remain humble in your own track. Rule number 5, have a life with no regrets. I remember I went to an NLP seminar years ago, and we did this very, very powerful meditation visualization where you're forced to visualize yourself at your own tombstone. And it was very confronting because at that stage in my life, I hadn't had a lot of my experiences yet, and I was very regretful at the life that I was up to. And it was a powerful thing because I remember having a conversation with my own tombstone, have a conversation with myself, basically just saying, mate, you've been such a pussy at life, like have a go. Just take up opportunities, stop being so frightened, stop being so scared, just do it. Like if everyone else can do it, you can do it. Like just have a crack, have a try. And yeah, so from there it was just learning. And also I was fortunate enough when I was in jail, someone taught me a really powerful goal setting process that's just absolutely dynamite. And you know, I think that the process that I'm using to set goals and teaching other people to do, it's how all the big boys do it. Like all the big players, whether it be in business or in sports or something, they've found a powerful way of setting goals, so it enables them to have experiences in life. So you get to the end of your life and you have no regrets, because, you know, one of my beliefs is whoever dies with the best memories wins. You know, it's life is a collection of awesome memories, and you know, that's what it's all about. When we get to the end of our days, that's what we're exchanging. That's what we hand over at the end, is what stories we've got left. Okay, trait number 6 to being successful: be consistent, be disciplined, and be determined. So consistency first. I was watching a Joe Rogan podcast recently. I reckon that guy's an absolute legend, has some awesome things to say, and the people he get on there are awesome as well. And he was talking to a guy who does Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Now, I love the philosophy of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and how those people think. And what he said was that in life, to master anything, to master any type of skill set, consistency is more important than intensity. And the gist of it is that if you can turn up consistent, instead of dropping, when your intensity is too high, you're leaving yourself open to physically breaking down, so injuries and burnout, but also mentally burning out as well. It's harder to get motivated when the intensity is so high. So he said for the jiu-jitsu, but I think it's the same for anything in life, is that if you bring your intensity down, you can actually get more hours on the mat. You know, it's more hours practicing your craft when the intensity is not so high, and it's really just enjoying that process. It's more about just turning up. Because if you say you spend an extra 4 hours than someone each week doing something, that's an extra 16 hours a month. That's nearly 180 hours in a year. You're spending practicing whatever the craft is you want to be good at. Now, 180 hours extra. Of course, you're going to learn much more than the other person, and you don't have the risk of the physically hurting yourself or mentally burning yourself out. So consistency is hugely important. Discipline. A mentor of mine taught me years ago. I said to him, what would be the one trait that you think that you have, that you possess, which has enabled you to get to where you've got to in life? And he said, discipline. And I said, okay. And it was in a gym setting, and part of my training for where I was up to is I had to do this 9-week challenge to experience what I was going to put my own clients through. So I thought, okay, how can I really epitomize this discipline? How can I really practice this to its fullest extent? So I thought to myself, okay, what I'll do is I'm going to eat the same food day in, day out for this 9 weeks. Bar one meal, bar one cheat meal a week, I'm going to eat the exact same meal, you know, however many times a day for a whole week. And I'm going to do that for the 9 weeks. And I did, I stuck to it for the entire 9 weeks. I ended up losing 18 kilos in 9 weeks. So you know, people can do more than that. Some people do less, but for me, I was quite proud of myself because I've really did a micro, like a small practice session of what discipline in like the larger scale of life. I learned the power of discipline, the ability to get a result when you're disciplined and you can stick to something can get you ahead of where other people can get to. Because if they're making one little mistake every day over a week, those 7 little mistakes add up to something bigger. Over a month, that's 28. You know, so discipline, sticking to what you know works day in, day out. Being determined. When I was in jail, when you first go in, they take you into this, it's called an assessment prison. So before they put you into the big prisons, like this assessment thing, before they figure out what main prison they're going to put you into, and they kind of give you an orientation day, and I think they're just trying to settle everyone's nerves because everyone's, I don't know, I was shit at myself, so I'm assuming everyone else probably was as well, but they throw all these cards, they did this exercise for all the new people, and they throw the cards on the ground, and the card's got a word on it, and the word is what you're going to use to help you get through your jail sentence. And the card I picked up was determined. You know, I was determined to use that experience to turn my life around. I was determined to make sure the mistakes that I made, I would never do it again. I was determined that I would put in the work that I hadn't put in previously in my life. I was determined to make things better. I was determined to get it right. I was determined to be consistent with it when I got out. And I've stuck to that since that day I picked up that card. I've possessed that trait, and I think it's one of my strong traits. I'm a very determined individual. Probably more so now I'm connected to my authentic self, but determination will get you a really long way. All right, trait number 7, progress, not perfection. So this one was taught to me by my book writing coach, Brett Odkers. And there's a bunch of us authors in the group who he's coaching. And he says, guys, when you're writing your book, it's about progress, not perfection. Just get it done. Just get a little bit done. Be consistent with it and get it all done. You can perfect it down the track once it's all done. And that really resonated with me because I feel that I'd already done that in my life with most things. I feel that you need to be putting in a lot of energy and effort to get good at things, because what I believe is that the universe rewards energy and effort, right? The universe rewards those who take action. It's like the movie The Secret. What I feel that people have already talked about, this is not my idea, but I connected with the idea as well, is that what The Secret left out was action. It's not enough to just think about what you want, you've got to put action in. And when you look at all the most successful people in life, they're all the doers, right? They're out there doing it all the time. You know, they're willing to put in the hard work. They're willing to, you know, put in the hard yards that the other people aren't doing. So, yeah, and it's just, to me, it's just turn up and do it. Turn up and just get a bit done and get a bit more done. And, you know, each time just having a crack at it, rather than trying to getting it all done in one big chunk, just keep at it. Just get that progress done, because when you get into that perfection mindset, it really procrastinates you and you stop moving forward. And then all of a sudden you've lost momentum. Doubt creeps in, your ego takes over, you start pushing your own buttons and it doesn't get finished. So progress, not perfection. Number 8, be supported. So this can come from teachers, coaches, mentors, experts, colleagues. One of the biggest supports that we all have is our authentic self. Your authentic self is like a best mate that lives inside of you. It's like an inbuilt coach. It's like, imagine you at the end of your life with all your answers. That's your authentic self, and it's living inside of you. And then it will support you through anything you've been through. I know that when I was in jail and I learned about the authentic self, I thought to myself, this better not be some woo-woo concept that people talk about, but it doesn't really work. This is not the time for this to stuff up on me. I need this authentic self to be work and support me through the whole process. And it did. It supported me. It gave me all the advice and guidance that I needed to get me through it. And then, you know, I also like to make things more real world and practical and simple as well. And I've got coaches who I speak to. I've got my partner Jen. I get so much support from her. I get support from family, friends, I have so much support. I've filled my life up with so much support that I know that that support is there to help keep me on track. So when I feel like I'm going off track or I'm losing momentum or whatever, there's people in my life that help give me that support. All right, number 9, divine timing. So everything happens for a reason. Nothing happens by accident. Be patient. Right? I know that in my life, a lot of my mistakes come from rushing things. I know that I rushed into the drug world because I wanted to make a lot of money really quick. My business wasn't working, so I wanted to fix it really fast and make all this money. And just stupid decisions come from when you rush things. Stupid decisions come from when you try and force it. We think the universe revolves around us, and it does in a sense, but we're one grain of sand on a beach. There's all of these life lessons and all of these other things happening at the same time. And sometimes we need other people to learn life lessons so that they realize and learn something, so that when they come into your life, they're ready to teach you something, and it's all interconnected. So it's just the divine timing of it all. I know with me and my partner, Jen, when we first met each other, if we had met each other 2 weeks, 3 months earlier, the timing wouldn't have been right. We both had lessons that we needed to learn to become fully ready for one another. Think of it in terms of the stuff that I've learned that I do with my coaching. Like a lot of that I learned when I was in jail. Now, in jail was the right time for me to learn. I was in the prison system in Melbourne, not in Sydney, so I didn't know anyone down there. I had no family, no friends. I was by myself, so I had a lot of time to reflect and a lot of time to think about things, and it was just the perfect time for the universe to put teachers in my life. And I had some of the best teachers that I've had in my life in prison who taught me some extremely valuable life skills and life lessons, but the time was right. It always comes down to timing. When the time's right, it works easily and effortlessly. When the time's not right, there's a lot of resistance. So I'm not saying, if you get a bit of resistance, give up. What I'm saying is that if you're trying to force it too much and there's too much resistance, it's not time. Just relax, let go, surrender. By surrender, I don't mean give up, I mean wait patiently. Always keep your eye out for the opportunity and it'll present itself in the right time. Rule number 10, lead by example. I love this one. If you want to inspire and influence people, you need to lead by example. I believe humans don't really listen very well, but they'll copy what you do. It's monkey see, monkey do. So if you want to be a legend, if you want to be great, if you want to inspire people, lead by example. Show them how to do it. Show them what's possible. I feel that through my life and my story, I'm showing people that it doesn't matter how hard you get hit and how when you get to that rock bottom, you can turn your life around. It's a choice. It's a choice. And if you put enough energy and effort into it, you can get there. And I hope that by me coming from the rock bottom position in jail to now getting to where I'm up to in life, I'm starting to inspire and influence people because I'm leading by example. Not even through my words, just purely through my actions, I'm showing people what to do. I want other people to be grateful, so I need to be grateful myself as well. Thinking about all the good things I have in my life, thinking about all the pain I've been through in my life, and the opposite of those pain points is what I'm truly grateful for. When you're having a panic attack and you've got really bad anxiety, that makes me really grateful for my inner peace that I have today. Growing up through life and not having the tools that I needed to survive through life and to get me through tough challenges, I've got all the tools and techniques now, so I'm grateful for that. Going through life and feeling unsupported and feeling isolated, like no one understood what I was thinking or what I wanted help with, and then now having the answers and figuring it out, I'm grateful for those answers. And I'm grateful for the people who taught it to me, and I'm grateful for all of that kind of stuff. When you go through the depression and then you finally figure out how to be happy, you become grateful for that happiness. So it's, again, leading by example. What else? It's leading by example in the fact that I feel that as humans, we need to be of service to other humans. We need to give back. It's giving back. Well, what have we learned? What are things that I've learned through my life? What am I now able to give back that's going to improve humanity? Because some of my highest values are contribution, impact, and legacy. Right? Contribution. What am I contributing to this world to make it a better place? I remember when I was in jail, I said to my authentic self, like I was cutting a deal with it, and I said, if you can keep me safe and get me out of here, I'll do whatever you want me to do for the rest of my life as returning the favor. And that's what I'm doing now, is empowering people to make good decisions in life, to be in control of their emotions, and to build and create awesome lives with no regrets, so they have all the best memories by the time they get to the end of their life. You know, having that as imagine the impact that has when people learn it, they start implementing that into their own life. Imagine that impact that's happening in their life, and then the legacy. What can you leave behind? When you're in a jail cell and you've got time to reflect over your life, and you start forecasting your life, and you're thinking about, well, when I get to the end of my life, what have I achieved, and what am I going to leave by? You think of those questions very seriously when you're in jail, and you've got to come up with some answers. And then, you know, that's why videos are good. Videos leave behind a digital imprint of my messages. The book that I've written, and there's more books to come, they're all legacy. When I pass away, those things will get passed on down through the generations. So I know that my messages, because the messages in my videos or in my books, they're what I wished I had have learnt when I was growing up and when I was at school. That's all inside my book, or inside my books to come, and in my videos. So what an awesome gift to leave behind afterwards, is thinking above and beyond myself. What about everyone else? What can I give back to everyone? Is just leaving that legacy. All right, guys, so those are the top 10 rules that I had for success. So to recap the top 10 rules, number 1, be open, willing, and ready. Learning, opportunities, anything, just be open, willing, and ready. Number 2, be unbreakable. That's all about resilience and confidence. Number 3, be unstoppable. That's all about connecting to your authentic self and your life's purpose. Number 4, be authentic. It's all about being understanding, being respectful, loving what you do. You know, knowing that you've got the choice between listening to the voice in the head or the voice of the heart of the authentic self. Be authentic. Good things come when you're authentic. Vulnerability is the new strength. Rule number 5, have no regrets. Live an awesome life with no regrets. Have goals in the 7 areas of life, so when you get to the end of your life, you've ticked off all the boxes and you've got all the best experiences that you wanted to have. Don't leave nothing behind. Leave no stone unturned. Number 6, be consistent, disciplined, and determined, right? Have that as a system that you follow for everything that you do, to make sure that you're on track and you're working towards what it is that you want. Rule number 7, progress, not perfection. Just have a crack at it. Keep chipping away at it. Don't stop, bit by bit by bit, because you're going to learn more as you're doing it, and you're making progress each time you're getting a little bit done. Progress, not perfection. Rule number 8, be supported. Have support from your authentic self, your family, friends, teachers, coaches, mentors, colleagues, family, friends, everyone. Have support. You need a supportive system around you. You're not going to get there alone. You can, but it'll be much more harder. People that I inspire to be like, and I look at how they got there, they've got support around them. They've got a supportive team that is helping them get to where they are, and that's, yeah, support. Number 9, divine timing. Everything happens for a reason. Just be patient, right? As long as you're not sitting around doing nothing all the time, you've got to be proactive and be alert and on the lookout for opportunities, but just allow the divine timing. Everything happens at the right reason. At the right time, for the right reason, with the right people. So just allow the divine time. Stop, maybe not force it. Don't force it and don't rush it. That's when mistakes happen and bad things happen. Just get in the flow of the universe and feel when the right time is to do it. And number 10, lead by example. If you want to influence and inspire other people, you need to be the change in the world that you want to see. If you want other people to be grateful, you be grateful. If you want people to give back to humanity, you give back to humanity. If you want other people to value contribution, impact, and legacy, then make sure you're doing the same. All right, guys, those are my top 10 rules for success. Enjoy the rest of your day.